Geeks and Gamers, Matt Lemke with Your Gamer Goggles, and I'm with one of the legends of the gaming industry, Lisa Stevens, and we're going to chat about the Goblin Works MMO for Pathfinder today, which, if you don't know, which some people here at Gen Con have obviously missed, it's live. And I really don't know where to start because I don't talk about MMOs, so I'm just going to give the show to Lisa.
Well, good morning or afternoon, wherever you're watching this. So Pathfinder Online. So this is something that's been going on for a while now. We started this 4 years ago, believe it or not.
It seems like 2.
We did the Kickstarter 3 years ago. We had our alpha testing last summer. So it's been a long time coming, and it's something that I've been working on more and more lately. The cool thing about Pathfinder Online so this whole thing kind of came about because when we first started talking about doing an MMORPG, I was doing the Kingmaker adventure path for Pathfinder, and in the Kingmaker adventure path, you're in the River Kingdoms, and your group is trying to build a kingdom out of the wilderness, you know. So it was something like that, you know. And when we started talking about an MMO, I said, well, this would be perfect, you know, having an MMO where the players go into the wilderness and the River Kingdoms and try to basically carve out their own little kingdoms. That sounds kind of cool. It's kind of sexy, you know. That's
what every player wants.
It's not something that you see in a lot of MMOs. Most MMOs, you know, are basically, you know, video games. They take you through the story and you're just a participant in someone else's story. This one, in Pathfinder Online, you are the story. You're creating the story. The whole world is what we call a sandbox. It's you know, it's this kind of empty world that the players fill up. And you know, and so the players are the story. They're the ones that make the settlements, name the settlements. They're the ones. All the main characters in the game are player characters. Some of the most infamous and famous ones are players.
I was going to say, so how does that interact with the MMO portion of the universe? I mean, because obviously I want my city, but so does probably 80% of the population. So how do they merge?
So the way they merge, I mean, so basically there's quite a few cities that could be in the world. I want to say it's like 60 so far, and there'll be more once we expand the map. A lot of people just, you know, if they want to work on a city, they're going to get together and they're going to, you know, get together with a bunch of other people like them. So, for instance, there's the settlement of Forge Home is all dwarves, and so they only accept dwarves anyway. And so, if you're a dwarf, you're like, hey, I'll hang out with the other dwarves up there, and we'll make a settlement together. So you can do it that way. Some people want to be the ones that are the leaders, which takes a lot of work. You have to organize a lot of stuff to make a settlement. Sorry, and so you know, for them, they have to basically find a plot of land, and they have to kind of get, you know, convince enough people to come and join their settlements, so they can actually build this thing. Because settlements are not built by a single person. They're a group effort. We figure it's going to probably take 20 to 25 people probably to do a settlement properly. And even then, you won't be able to be as you know, you won't probably be able to get some of the biggest parts of being a settlement until you get into hundreds of people on that side. It's a guess. We'll see. So we haven't started doing this yet. This is going to start happening in about 3 weeks.
Oh, okay. So now you just kind of get in there and you can play.
Well, people are still on the settlements. We gave them temporary settlements that we made for them. And they got to decide if they wanted to be like. If they want to train like fighter wizard or cleric rogue or be a crafting settlement, they got to decide that. Then we gave them a settlement that was set up for that. But they didn't get to shoot. They didn't get to like put where the buildings are going to be and mix it up and mix and match and try to optimize and stuff. That's going to happen in certain like 3 weeks. So that's going to be the point where we're going to literally kind of take away those proto settlements and they're going to be on their own.
That leads me to the next questions. It's sandbox with, you know, the Pathfinder universe. So you have this rich, very, very rich storyline in Pathfinder, but now the players, in sense, have a great chance to change a lot of things.
They become part of that storyline.
Are you? Wow, that's another question. There's a lot going on in my mind now. you already have all these like different factions.
Sure.
And things. Are they present in the game or not yet?
They will be really soon. We have plans to put in factions for all the
Pathfinder Society's got to be.
So Pathfinder Society is going to be there, and the Aspis Consortium, their arch nemesis, right?
Of course.
And then there'll be the Hell Knights will be in there, but then they'll have like Eagle Knights.
So will you be able to join them?
Oh yeah, they'll be able to join the factions and get the special armor and stuff
Stop
like that.
playing the RPG.
But here's the thing: if you join that faction and you kind of rise up the ranks a bit, open yourself up to members of the opposing faction coming and fighting you.
Well, that's fair. I like that.
Yeah, that's kind of how we're doing PvP in the game. Is that there's a lot of, it's more structured. It's not like just a random thing. It's settlements feuding other settlements because they're at war with each other, or it's factions. It's Eagle Knights going against Hell Knights, or it's the Hell Knights beating down the bandits in the area and stuff because they're chaotic evil and they're whatever. It's that kind of thing. It's Knights of Iomedae, Paladins of Iomedae fighting some of the more disreputable people in the world and stuff. And so that's kind of it's all about this kind of. You know who your enemies are because they're people you're either at war with or they're people in that faction that you're against. Your Pathfinder Society, you see someone from Aspis Consortium, you know that person's an enemy of yours, and then that person knows Pathfinder Society. They're on against you. You don't have to. You could say, okay, we're just going to pass in the night and stuff. But it's there. And it provides you with that aspect. And if you don't want to engage in that aspect.
So there's a lot of room to dungeon delve.
We don't have dungeons in the game yet. We actually have, we do have these kind of above the ground dungeons. These things called escalations. And we have a hex in the world, and basically it's some group of monsters or other NPCs is basically taking it over for a while, and they have a storyline. For instance, the Mordenspire elves are there trying to gather Aslanti artifacts, because most people don't realize, but that area of the River Kingdoms, it was heavy with old Aslanti runes and stuff like that back in the way early days of Galarian, back before even the Rune Lords and stuff. So those Mordenspire elves are up there trying to discover these old artifacts, and so you find them in this one hex, and they're trying to do these things. You're basically trying to stop them. So there's these little mini storylines that go on that you can find in these hexes. Eventually there'll be dungeons you'll find, and you'll go down. And some of them will be like smaller little dungeons. You go in, there's like a little maybe 5 to 10 room dungeon that it's almost like a little counter thing you do. And then eventually we'll do bigger dungeons. There's a couple of them in the game already. The Emerald Spire being the most noticeable one. It's actually in the game above ground. You can see the spire and stuff in the game. And eventually we'll build all the dungeon levels for that. And you can go down and do that. We got the Dismal Cavern, just a few other ones in the area that are just waiting for us to get to that point where we start doing that. And then at some point way in the future, Ryan would want me to say timeline undetermined, but we have goals of we want to provide tools for players to be able to create dungeons and share them with other players.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, that's like long-term goal because that takes a lot of effort. And
that's like scouting.
Yeah, yeah. But we think it'd be really pretty cool just to see what
well, I'm sure
other players can come up with and stuff and share with people. So, so that's one of our long-term goals.
Find a lot of hidden gems that way, I think.
I think so. Plus, again, the game's all about players creating the content.
And community, yeah.
And players creating the game, and so players creating, the hard part's going to be trying to find a way to make sure that those things are balanced. But I think there's ways to do it. You can tell people, okay, based on the level of the monsters you put in, here's your treasure allocation, right?
Sorry.
So you can only give this much away and stuff like that. And here's the list from you pull from and stuff. So I think there's ways we can rate it in so that someone's not just giving away really awesome loot in their dungeon.
Artifacts.
Yeah, well, we'd have to make them for that to happen. I mean, once again, everything in the game is really made by players. So the loot drops you get tend to be materials that you use to make things. There's recipes to make things. You can get spells and things like that every so often, but you're not going to get it like +5 long. Sorry, that's players going to make that for you. And so
you could actually be a full-time blacksmith.
Oh, yeah, there are. There's guys who are just focused entirely on doing that. They want to be the best one in the entire game, and they want to have the best gear, because there's different tiers of gear. And so right now, the best blacksmiths are making these things tier 2 gear, which there's 3 tiers currently. The 3rd tier is probably not going to be available till the end of the year. But once they are, there'll be someone that's making tier 3 gear, and that's going to be like really rare. That person's focused for like almost a year on getting to there. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. So there'll be, as you go up the tiers, they become more and more rare. And eventually, who knows, we might add tier 4 or 5 and stuff. It's kind of all up to the players. The players are really directing this game in a lot of ways. We have weekly chats with them where we talk about what we're doing and what we're working on. We get feedback, and they have a test server. They're all on testing stuff before we put it into the live game. It's even like what race goes in next. They voted for gnomes, and so gnomes are the next race to go in the game.
I wouldn't have expected gnomes to be next.
Well, glaring gnomes are cool because they're colorful.
They are
got
cool.
The bleaching, and they got a lot of cool stuff with it. So they have a lot of flavor, and I think people really appreciate the flavor when they see that done in the game. So it's up to them to kind of direct us in this. When we're getting ready for the next class to go in, they'll decide what class that is and stuff. And so it's fun to build a game with your players. I mean, Paizo does that too. That's what Paizo's known for. I mean, we've been building our RPG with input from our players the whole time. Every single rulebook that's ever come out has had an open playtest, and our players are giving us the feedback. And I'm trying to pull that over and create a very similar community with an MMO, and that's so focusing hugely on community, making a really helpful community that's really awesome, and a lot of great people that are friendly and welcoming, and it's hard to do that sometimes in video games, but we're succeeding, and that's the best part I think about what Pathfinder Online is doing, is just building this awesome community, and then that community is engaged with the guys, people making it, just like Paizo's great community is engaged with Paizo. So, kind of learning from the parent company, I guess you should say. The Paizo. We know what works now, and so trying to use those same lessons with Pathfinder Online.
So, how many people are currently playing?
We don't give out that exact knowledge, the information.
That's fair.
But it's in the thousands.
Kind of figured it was up there. So you're not Blizzard?
No, we're not even trying to be Blizzard. We're trying to build it.
Well, they're not doing anything anymore, are they? Really? I mean,
they got Warcraft.
They still got it, but I don't think they haven't released anything new.
I think they have. I think they released something late last year.
Yeah, I heard that was the last one, but I don't know. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about.
I guess what I'm trying to say is one of the things that I'm trying to do is build the game slowly, because I want to get the right people in the game, because I want to build this community. Build it too fast, you don't have any control over who's coming into the game. There's no sorting hat, as you were, and so we're building it slowly and really trying to find people that are interested. I mean, right now the people in the game, I view them as pioneers. It's kind of like in the old days of the Wild West, when everybody lived on the East Coast, and then the pioneers went out and colonized the West, and it was a bit of a lawless place, but they kind of, and there was not much infrastructure, but they kind of went out there with party folk, and they kind of, created this world on the west side of the United States. And it's what's happening inside the game. And there's areas that are getting much more civilized and stuff, but there'll always be a frontier for the hardy folk to go out and find their way. And so, this is the point where the game where we've had the pioneers in there and stuff. And I want to find people with that mentality of wanting to go out and they're out there building and thinking about the world as being their oyster, as opposed to having the world there for them to just, go along for the ride.
Yeah, this isn't one you're born into. This is one you shape.
Yeah, exactly. Most MMOs have, this world you just go and experience, and then you're done.
Yeah.
And this is not that. This is about creating and being part of creating something.
Yeah, this is not like most MMOs. It's lacking. This fills most of that gap.
Anybody has a man in a pole, still has a boat.
Role playing to me is largely about character development.
Right.
As a player. Well, even as a DM, because as a DM, the story is my character. DM. GM. And I think you guys are filling that gap with a lot of the choosing of what you're going to do type of thing. It seems like there's a tremendous amount of politics that the players get to decide.
The players are, all the politics are players. I mean, they've made alliances in the game. We've had some people step up to basically create the different churches. You know, there's a guy who said, "I'm now the High Priest of Desna,"
and that is awesome.
And I'm gonna make this church at Desna. And if you're a Desna, advocate, we'll get together and we'll do things. There's a guy who created the Emerald Lodge. It's a Pathfinder-side lodge in the game, right near the Emerald Spire. His goal is to have a safe haven for people to go into the dungeon once it's open. There's all these different groups. There's Ozm's Vigil. There's a group of paladins up in the north, and they role-play the lawful good guys that are out to protect the weak, and it's just on and on. And there's just all these different groups. Deciding how they want to role play, how they want to shape their part of the world, and what they expect, of the people there and stuff. And it's been pretty cool. But there's still a whole lot of world that other people can come in and shape. There's a whole corner of the map right now that's pretty much empty.
You can even be a loner.
You can be a total loner, and it's just I play the game. I would say probably 85-90% alone. But if I get on Saturday, there's a bunch of people. A lot of times, in the summer I'm in, and I'll say what's going on. If they have something fun, and I get some time, I'll go and play with them. And so that's kind of neat. You can kind of group up with people. Here at the convention, we're doing this elemental rift escalation, which is this thing where one of the crazy world builders under the Emerald Spire has gone a little insane and opened up portals for all these elementals to come through, and so they've kind of invaded this one part and they're going to beat it back. So it's really colorful and fun, and so they're doing that now, but people are coming from all over the server to come, because we're playing on the live server. They're coming out from all over to help.
That is amazing.
So it's pretty cool, and you see people just everywhere, and even some enemies, political enemies and stuff, who maybe on a normal day might be shooting each other, instead they're healing each other and working together on this thing. So it's been fun. We've had a couple of things. We had a big server event this last month where Narathimon, the Lich who's under the Emerald Spire, basically was trying to gain control of the area, and he kind of made himself known through his projected image and stuff, because he's bound underneath the Emerald Spire. He's basically trapped down there, but he can use some spells and stuff to project himself up, and he controls these crystals from the Emerald Spire. And the players had to go all over the map and beat him down many times, and it was fun. It was a blast. Everybody had a good time, and next month I think it's gonna be a drow.
Very nice.
Yeah. So,
how many characters is an account allowed to have?
Well, account can have 3 characters. Right now, you basically have to say which character you're getting experience on. So experience is done if you're familiar with EVE Online. We're following their model, which is you gain 100 experience every hour. So when you're logged in, logged out, you go on vacation for 2 weeks, you're getting 100 experience every hour.
Oh wow! So you don't even actually have to be playing, technically.
You don't even have to be playing. Now, what you have to do is, in order to use the experience to get higher level feats, you have to get achievements. And achievements are things like killing things, or crafting things, or finding special. During the escalations, there's various events going on, and once you participate in them, you get these achievements for participating in the game. And those achievements, basically, once you get enough of a certain type of achievement, you're able to raise things up. So there is a thing of having to do things in the game, but it's not experience points. Experience points are things you just get. And so it's a little bit different than a lot of games where people have to grind for XP. They just and I find that basically just playing the game casually, an hour a night or something like that. I have all the achievements I ever need. I never find myself needing them. So they're just,
might be hooked.
Yeah, so it's kind of nice, and We do a lot of little sexy things, one of the problems a lot of MMOs have is that once they get more advanced, new players come in, and older players give them this high-level gear, and it makes them, they don't get the new player experience. They don't get to see what it's like to not be so good and then get better. They just kind of get all this gear, and it kind of just bubbles them up, even though they're not higher level. Right. And so what we're doing is we're basically your gear has to match your feats, how good you are in the game. So cool. If you gave a new player a +5 sword, it would basically act like a +0 sword until they got better. So there's no reason for them a +5 sword. Give them a +0 sword, and then as they get better, they work their way up, right? And then eventually the steel longsword's not good enough. You want dwarven steel longsword, or blended steel, or adamantine steel, or whatever, because those are the ones that are going to make use of your higher skills. Because if you're a higher skilled person and you use a crappy low-level sword, you won't be that good either, because you need the better weapon for that. So it's kind of like you need, there's always this kind of like, you get the XP, but you need the achievements. You need the higher skill but you also need the higher level weapon. So there's no easy path that someone can just kind of say, here, now you're really powerful. You have to kind of like work your way up.
Now, is there multi-classing?
Oh, you can do whatever you want. It's literally, now there's benefits if you stick with a certain, like if you stick with all cleric stuff and you wear armor that cleric is wear, and you don't grab great sword or something like that. If you do that, then you get like you're gonna eventually get a dedication bonus. So they'll basically say, I'm dedicated to being in this class, and so I'm better at being. Because I'm just pure at this, I'm better. But for the most part, like my characters, they're grabbing everything. My fighter's got a little bit of cleric and a little bit of rogue, and
it's what you do in real life.
It's what you do in your life, and it's in the player's hands. Again, the player's making the decisions. Players decide how they want to shape their character, what they want their character to do. We don't want to stand in the way of that. But if someone wants to, be really, really pure in something, we want to reward them. So.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It sounds really cool.
It's pretty cool, and again, it's being created with players, which is even awesome.
I haven't played a lot of MMOs, but this sounds like it blows everything else out of the water.
I've never played an MMO in my life, and I'm just hooked on this because of the richness of the community and the game design, and I think we've learned a lot from other MMOs that have had problems and stuff. So, and we're getting a lot of good feedback here at Gen Con. I mean, it's been great when people coming up to the booth and I didn't realize this is out. And, oh yeah, I'm right here, and like that's the game right there. There's real people around the world playing right now, and like 15-day free trial. You go to PathfinderOnline.com and 15-day free trial right there, and just you click and play 50 days, see if you like it. If you don't, cool. Not every game's for everybody. But if you like it, it's just $15 a month. Simple, easy peasy.
Simple. It is.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
Nah, I think we got it, man. Thank you, though, for giving me
this
opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a blast.
Absolutely.
I hope you have a great rest of the show.
I will.
Thank you guys for watching, or peoples from all over the world.
Thank you.
See you later.
Yeah, bye.